Good morning, good morning, good morning, Ultimate Sports Prep News family. How's everyone doing today? Um, man, I miss you guys. It's been a long week. Been a long week. Um, I never really lied to you guys. I've always been open and honest about what I'm trying to do here at Ultimate Sports and now Prep News. Um, So some of this week was doctor's appointments and some just trying to get good content for you guys. And I've never put bad content out. I want to have quality interviews with players and coaches. And sometimes it's hard to get the player interviews uh, because I try to stay in season. And what that means is, I try not to interview football kids during basketball season or try not to interview baseball kids or whatever, during basketball, soccer, wrestling season. And so that's where, you need the help of everybody to give your kids that exposure they need, to give your schools the exposure that they need, and so on and so forth. But hey, got a great guest joining us this morning. He's becoming a familiar face here on Off the Bench Sports and now Prep News. It's going to be his first time joining us here. So please welcome this guy, my young guy. I love this dude to death. I love his energy. I love his passion. I love his commitment to excellence. He has a great commitment to excellence. Um, he does things the right way. Please welcome Port Allen Pelicans head boys basketball coach Demario Jackson. What's up, Coach? Welcome.
Good morning, man. It's definitely good to be here. Thank God for being alive. Thank you for allowing me to be here, man. I appreciate it for everybody listening. I want you to make sure you tune in every time. Every time he tunes in, there's always good quality. There's always good news.
Man, like I never try to put my personal life into anything public. And right now, my personal life is overtaking everything else. And so I'm just trying to figure it out, man. I ain't lying. I'm gonna say this on air this one time, and this one time only. Life is kicking my ass right now. But I'm a fighter. That's all I know. And it's not a physical fist fight. I'm a fighter. That's all I know is how to figure out ways to win, even in the most adverse conditions. That's
So,
what I've tried to teach my children, how
mhm.
to create a win in even the most adverse conditions. And so when life kicks your ass, you got to kick back. And that's just what I'm trying to do. Uh, but man, let's get to you. I think I got what um, to me is a great first question for you. You started off at Bruley,
Mhm.
and the Bruley job was yours. We've talked about this before. All you had to do was sit back and be patient, and by now you probably be the head coach at Bruley High School. You chose to go an alternative route. You went to Zachary. You became a state champion assistant coach. I know that was a wonderful feeling. And every time I talk to Coach John, and we mention you,
That's my
the
dude.
great bond that you guys built in such a short time. It exudes through his words, and he just has a great love and affection for you. But you chose to go a different route because you could have stayed at Zachary as long as you wanted to. The community loved you, the parents loved you, the kids loved you. Coach John and Coach Ron and the rest of the coaching staff loved you. You chose to go a different route again because you love challenges, and now you're at Port Allen High School. And so, my question to you is: now that you've been here, you got through the summer, or how much of a summer you had, um, you've gotten through non-district schedule. You're in the middle of district schedule. Is things going the way you thought that they would go for you at Port Allen?
Well, before I answer that question, just going back to about the comment that that you made about life. I mean, one of the things that me and Coach John always share, and one of the things that I've been sharing with Jalen is God give His toughest battle to His toughest soldiers. He didn't, He didn't bring you. He didn't bring you this far to leave you where you are. There is, I mean, we don't know the why, but He know the why,
Right.
and we know His plan is. We know His plan for our greater good. So I don't know what anybody that's listening. I don't know what y'all going through or what you may be going through directly, but He does. And one thing I know is that prayer is always in decency and in order. He said in His word that ye have not because we ask not. So I'm asking for favor over you and then over everybody that's listening. But going back to the question, I mean, I'm not a guy that sits back and just wait. I think one of the things that's driven my career is being a guy that's a hard worker, that's willing to work, and that's willing to get out of the comfort zone. And that's one of the things that we've been preaching to our guys is getting out of your comfort zone. You're not gonna always be comfortable in life. You have to we're working to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
And stepping into going from an assistant to a head coaching position is, it was very uncomfortable at first. Not knowing exactly, what was gonna happen. Walking into a situation where Coach Jones left this program in a great spot. Coach Jones built this to a premier program. So me coming in, wanted to just keep building this thing, and keep it going. We know the expectations don't change; they won't change. The expectation is to win the third state championship. And I think working with Coach John McClinton, and last year at Zachary was amazing for me in my career. And that wasn't an easy move, leaving Bruley, going to Zachary, but it was a move that was needed, and it shows that it was very effective. And the relationship that he and I had, man, is second to none. It's second to none. Definitely, we bounce ideas, and it's not even. A lot of the times, it's not even about basketball. It's just about life. Talking about his kids, talking about my son, just about life and about goals and relationship with God and stuff like that.
Hey, just on the outside looking in, the process of taking over a program that's built the reputation that Port Allen has built, you have to come in and try to imprint your stamp of who you are as a man and as a coach, and your IQ as a coach. Um, what changes did you have to make personally as a coach to show those kids that, hey, I'm not anyone else but Demario Jackson, and I can give you everything that you need to be successful in life, in school, and on the basketball court?
Well, one thing I've heard a coach say is expectation is a privilege. Pressure is a privilege. And being done what this program has done the last 3 years. I mean, we knew that coming in, my deal wasn't change. It was keep elevating.
Right.
I mean, as I said earlier, this program was built on the right things. So I wanted to come in and continuously build that on those right things and see if we can elevate it. We have amazing kids. We have kids that they work hard, not only in the gym, but they work hard in the classroom. So And a lot of the times I use my own self as an example. Using my career and some of the things that I had to face in my career. And I think that's the good thing about me being a young coach. Being a young coach, but having kind of old soul too, because I was raised by older cats. So I can relate, to this generation because I'm a part of
Right.
this generation. So some of the things that that they're exposed to and that they're going through, I'm able to kind of relate to it and be able to help them. Whether it's being in the coach role or being in the father role or being in the brother role, whatever role I feel like I can play that.
Right. Hey, so I'm at the Madison Prep Zachary game the other night, and I'm sitting by Coach McGee, Coach Tyrus McGee, head coach for
That's
Live
my
Oak.
dude.
Yeah, him and his wife, we're all sitting there together talking because we're really cool, and we're talking about the kids of today. And he's saying he may just be walking down the hall and he may be seeing whatever tune it is that these kids are listening to now. And he's like, man, you know that song, Coach? And he's like, oh yeah, that's my jam. I love that. And so then, so we're at my son's game last night at Holmes Community College. And again, like I said so many times before, I always got my AirPods in my ear because I'm always listening to music. And so my daughter comes up to me because she comes to the game with her mom, and the baby, and I know who sang this song, but whatever that popular the baby song is that they play all the time that everybody's listening to,
Hey, I'm trying to
is
think
on. And my daughter's like, Dad, that's the lick. And I said, girl, if you don't get away from me with that foolishness. And she's like, Daddy, you so uncool. I was just mouth wide open, man. I can't, I can't. I'm so old school. And I'm still, 50 is the new 35 now. Like, us 50-year-olds, we got great energy. And I just can't, I can't do it, man. Like, geez. But I'm gonna let y'all have that, man. You guys have, in the tradition, and this is me, Coach Jones. Don't call DeMario with this. In the tradition that Coach Jones built in playing a tough schedule, you didn't adjust any of that. You played whatever the schedule was, and maybe even tried to add a game or two that was really competitive. How did you guys adjusted to that under new general leadership?
I mean, I think the schedule was put together really good. Because I mean, when it's time to get to the playoffs, you need to be tested.
Right.
I think by the time that first playoff game roll around, which I'm almost sure is February 25th, it's not going to be too much we haven't seen.
Right.
We've gonna been to play. We scrimmaged Zachary. We didn't play the Catholics. We didn't play. We're gonna be to play the Madison Prep. We're gonna be to play the Dawsonville, Wiseman, Washita. Shucks. Who else?
Rabel.
Rayville.
I ain't gonna leave them out because we about to talk about that in a minute here because I might not be able to get you back on before the top 28. I hope that we can, but you gotta live in the moment. So I'm gonna live in the moment, man. EJ McQuillan, Brooks, the little guy number 3, the sophomore freshman, he's getting a lot of minutes. And not only is he getting a lot of minutes, Ferdinand, not only is he getting a lot of minutes, he's handling it like I remember seeing him and Coach Jones' son in middle school as middle school athletes, and they're around the Port Allen program, and he's just trying to show he's tough. Ferdinand, you're there, son. Just keep working on that skill set. He didn't shy away from the contact or the physicality of what varsity sports was. You know, I'm looking at I think his name is Jordan Brooks, number 10.
Yeah, yep, Jordan. Yep.
In my mind, and I'm seeing him because I don't remember him from last year. But since the first time that I've seen him this year, anytime, it doesn't matter when it was, and Port Allen over the last 3 years have had some really great players. But before, it was always Jalen Knox that came to my mind when I thought about Port Allen Pels basketball. Now it's Jordan Brooks. Now it's E.J. McQuillan. You know, those guys have stepped into positions of leadership. How much have you had to depend on them over the last month?
Well, those two dudes that you're talking about, EJ and Jordan, man, they've done a great job of stepping into that leadership role. Which you're talking about two awesome young men, well
Yes.
respected, really good students. So I mean, again, it's not a shock.
Right.
You're talking about two kids that 2 and 3 days out of school week, out of 5-day week, those kids in this gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting up
Wow.
shots, getting in a workout. And school don't start till the bell don't ring till 8:10. So the success that they're having, you know, it doesn't surprise me. And then you're talking about two kids that's 2-time state champion. So they, you know, they know what it takes to get
Right.
back to where we're trying to go. So they've done an amazing job stepping into that leadership role. And then we got some other dudes that's really stepping up. You got the Jasiel Fernandez. You got Frank Samuel who's playing some big time minutes for us. You got Isaiah who's playing some big time minutes for us. You got Jameer who's playing some big time minutes for us. Our kids are doing a really good job with playing, and they're playing hard. They're competing, and you know, in the 9 losses we have, in about 7 of them, it's about 2 or 3 plays that's maybe the difference in the game.
Right. Right. Man, I just pulled this up on my phone, and I'm really in shock and awe right now. I just pulled up the power rankings for 2A, and again, I only use information, even though it's not up to date. 125 2022 is the last day, which was Tuesday,
Well, I
that it
can
was
tell you what,
updated.
and I'm not sure if you know about this one, but one that's pretty updated accurately every day is the one GoPreps.com.
Yeah, I know about Go Preps, but
Okay,
like I said, a lot of times I only use the
got you,
LHSAA
got you.
because when they make the playoff brackets, they're
LSU, yeah,
not going to
got you,
go off Go Preps. They're going to go off their own material.
got you. Yep.
And they're going to update it that Tuesday, and then that weekend, the bracket is coming out.
Come on. Yep, you're right. Yep, got you.
So I've always done that. I would never vary from that. I believe in the LHSAA system. They do a great job. But again, man, I'm looking at this, and some people may say, "Well, man, the power structure is changing in 2A. You have Madison at 18-1. They're at 1. Lakeview at 22-2. They're 2. Jonesboro Hodge, I don't know if you can make the playoff under 15 games, but Lakeview is 8-4. They're at 3rd. French Settlement, man, they've done. I follow this coach on Facebook. They're doing a great job this year at French Settlement. They're at 4. They're at 22-4, and now somewhere where Port Allen hasn't been, or Rayville hasn't been in a long time, they're at 5-6, and you guys are 11-8, and Rayville is at 11-6. You guys have been, over the last 6 years, Rayville and Port Allen have been the juggernauts of 2A. Y'all have been the leading everything. Like at first it was Rabel for 3 years in a row. They completely destroyed everybody. And then the last 3 years, you guys have completely destroyed everybody. Is this a true changing of the guard, or is this a situation where Rabel and Port Allen have brand new first year coaches with you, Demario Jackson, Rabel, Antoine Jacobs? Antoine James. Is this just first year coaching blues? I'm not a great word, not a great word. Just not first year coaching blues, but just the initial courting, dating thing that happens between players and coaches, where the building of the relationship has to be really developed in order for you guys to implement all that you are as coaches and skill developers and competitors.
Oh, well, one of the things we talk about with our guys is we don't pay attention to the rankings. And that's because we feel as long as we get 1% better every day, and we focus on what we need to focus on every day, whether that's practice, whether that's games, whether that's skill development sessions, whether that's weight room sessions, whatever that is, our focus is on us and winning that day. And then
Right.
we'll let that dictate the rankings and all that other stuff. And we feel as if long as we do that, we'll be fine come playoff time.
Right. In order to get two of the three home playoff games at home, you have to be in spots 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys get there?
We just got to get 1% better every day. Take care of our end, take care of our business, and we'll get there.
Right.
And
Um,
I mean, and the flip side to that is we've gonna be play 31 games, and don't quote me on this, but I'm almost positive we've had 1, 2, 3. By the time the playoffs start, we've been ahead. I want to say 7 home games. So if for some reason we have to go on the road, I'm positive we'll be fine. And we got
right.
the best fans in the state, so we're gonna travel.
Yeah, y'all definitely have a great fan base, man. They're boisterous. They're sometimes super animated, and they love Port Allen basketball.
Yep. So I feel we prepared either way, whether we have to go on the road or whether we have to go at home. Like I said, the focus for us is just getting 1% better every day.
Right. Man, I know you got class in like, I think you got like 30 minutes before class. But I want you to stay on because I want to talk about something. And if you feel like it, when I take a pause, I got like 7 minutes, 8 minutes for my next guest, I think. But if you won't stay on, jump in if you feel like it. If not, if you want to go, just say bye. We love you here at Prep News. So the issue I'm having is I was watching a game the other night, and it was a high school game in the state of Louisiana, and the kids over the last 5-6 years have been doing this thing where they throw their head back when they're being closely guarded. And we got veteran officials blowing that whistle, calling a foul. When I officiated, Max Chauvin was the guy was in charge of officials, the spot where Lee Sanders is now. And one thing that he always talked about was the integrity of the game. The integrity of the game came before everything. He didn't allow officials, kids, or coaches to mess up the integrity of the game. And somehow that has gotten lost. Somehow the process of making a mockery of the game is becoming more and more popular, it seems like. We cannot keep allowing this foolishness that's throwing your head back just because you don't want to ball handle to become normal. We it's just bad for basketball. Officials are supposed to be there to help grow the game. Yes, you're there to call fouls and violations, but you're also there to grow the game, to help young men and young ladies who are absent-minded of the rules to become more knowledgeable of the rules. And when you let kids do things like throw their head back, that's making a mockery of the game. When you let kids take flops and you know they're flopping and you call blocks, that's making a mockery of the game. It's little things like that is one of the reasons why this state of Louisiana isn't taken seriously in sports. I can't say this enough. We have the very best amateur athletes in the world. Go anywhere, Under Armour circuit, Nike circuit, Adidas circuit, Prep Hoop circuit, Chitlin circuit. It doesn't matter. Louisiana kids are dominating all these circuits. In football, we are the cream of the crop. In baseball, we have so many kids that are in a underpopulated area going from high school straight to the major leagues. I know kids personally from the Ascension Parish area in soccer that played on the U.S. national team in middle school. We have the very best athletes. Let's stop making a mockery of the game through officiating. And I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but I don't care anymore. You guys didn't like me when I was nice. And so I'm going to throw nice out of the damn window. We have to do right by these kids. And that means officiating these contests in the right way and in the right manner. We have to stop showing favoritism and biasness. That's one of the things that the officials application says, is that you cannot be biased. You cannot officiate your school or schools that you are affiliated with. Some of these officials have too good of a relationship with coaches that they officiate. If we want to better the game, if we want to show what our real true status is in high school athletics, then we have to do right by these children in every aspect. Everybody knows my son plays for Northeast, and last night they played Holmes. I didn't know Jordan Dishman was at Holmes. He's an impact player at Holmes. He was not respected at home in the home state of Louisiana by a lot of people that do what I do. But guess what? Even though he's coming off the bench, he was a huge contributor last night to what Holmes was doing. So even at the college level, we see Reese Beekman, Tyrese Radman, Jared Butler was the key reason that Baylor won the national championship last night. Javante was the floor general for 3 straight years at LSU. Like Tyrese Radford at Virginia, like his first year there on the court, they said he's getting heavily looked at by NBA scouts. So we have the talent to show that who we are. We have that talent. Let's help grow it more. All right? And that's just what it is, man. Hey, looks like our next guest is in the back room. My guy, I like this guy. He's he seems like he's nice. He's not that nice. You can't be that nice when you love to compete and win. So hey, please help us in joining. He got it on the screen. I love it. Coach Twig, what's up, man? How you doing?
Got to put it out there for people, man. Got to put it out there. Yeah, you
Hey.
said, and when you compete with the best in the state, like I have the last few years, and playing with some of the better players, better coaches, you know, I'll be a nice guy, but I'm just as competitive as the next guy, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, so funny story, real quick. I get tongue tied sometimes just because I have trouble letting some words out of my mouth. I've always had that issue, and I remember the first time I met Coach Twig. Um, I couldn't pronounce his last name.
Man,
Like
you're
I
not the only
screwed that.
one.
I screwed his name up so bad, y'all. It was just ugly. And he said, "Man, don't worry about it. Just call me Coach Twig." So real quick, tell us where did you get the name Coach Twig?
Look, man, I got 5 siblings. My dad had, 3 siblings. I got a big family back home in Connecticut, and I'll never forget. I was at a softball game one day. My dad was playing softball in one of those adult leagues or whatever, and they said something like, all right, up to bat next, and they couldn't pronounce the name either, so they said something like, and the guy said, "What in the hell is a Terwilliger?" or something like that, and I'll never forget it. But it's just a hard last name to say, man. So Twig, Twig, is short for that, and all my siblings go by that. Everybody calls us Twig, so I'm not the only Twig. My whole family goes by that, and it's just easier. It's a long, tough, kind of an unseen last name. There's been a few that I've seen. There was a Matt Terwilliger that played for Ohio State a couple years back. But yeah, it's just a unique, different name, and Twig is what I go by, man. It's short. Twig is what the whole family goes by. So, yeah.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Shout out, man, to my guy, Coach Greenhouse, man. Marksville Lady Tigers basketball. I got to get him on, man. We got to figure out a way to get Coach Greeny on. So
yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I can't even tell. Everybody know. I just if it come up and come out. He always has looked out for off the bench sports since we met. He's the reason why I've been at the Marksville Lady Tigers Tiger Classic every year for the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm truly grateful for that. You were at North Holy Savior Menard. You became a staple, a mainstay there. Coached some really cool kids, including the one I just mentioned in Jordan Dishman.
Yeah.
Why'd you decide to leave Menard?
I think just like anybody, man, there comes a time where, as time changes, you need to change, and
Right.
I think new scenery is always good. And I loved Menard for what it gave me. The 6 years that I was there, and we kind of together put ourselves on the map there, and played Coach Jeff at Madison Prep, and played some of the better teams in the state, and went to the tournaments. And it just came to a point where, man, I had to make a move, and also the public side of things in the state. I needed to needed to just look out for myself, and when you talk about benefits, retirement, and so getting into the public side of things and the public sector is never a bad thing. And
Right.
I appreciated everything Menard did for me and what I did for them, and it was a great time there and a great run. It was just time, man. It was just time to move on. So
I felt really stupid. I don't know why, but I always thought that Northwood Lena was a 3A school. I don't know why or where I got that from, but in my mind, I'm always thinking that Northwood Lena was a 3A school. And you go there. I remember when you told me, "Hey, bro, I'm headed to Northwood Lena."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Man, stop playing. You're not leaving Menard."
Yeah.
And I looked up one day, and you were rocking the Northwood Lena gear.
Yeah.
And it was crazy for me because I couldn't see you anywhere else but Menard. Like you were bought into Menard to me, and that loyalty that you had to them was one of the reasons why I love you so much, because I'm a guy that's really big on loyalty.
Yeah.
And so
and it wasn't easy it wasn't easy to leave. It wasn't easy to
I
leave.
I bet it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you get I don't know, again, even though you guys maybe played all summer throughout the month of June, I don't know how much of a summer, with this COVID thing that we really had, because under current conditions, sometimes, depending on the school district, the superintendents put down a mandate that you can't go and stay overnight.
Right.
Especially back then, they loosened it up, and then it got right now. I think it's strict again, to where teams really can't go and spend the night, a lot of them, anymore. I know Richland Parish a couple of weeks ago, they shut down all extracurricular activities for like a week.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how much of a summer you guys got to have there at Northwood Lena in your first month.
We did. We went to the Northwestern State team camp. We went to the LSUA team camp. I think we went to the local one that Rapides put on. So we went to 4 or 5 of them still. But you're right. You never know with COVID. Even now during the season, it's you just never know. I know it's kind of died down and this, that, and the other, but there's just unknowns with it still. You don't know.
Right.
The game could get canceled. You don't know. I mean, we had a game the other night, and the bus driver got COVID, and they couldn't find a replacement last minute. We're like, man, so you just never know what's going to hit you with it.
You didn't have to drive the bus, huh, Coach?
No, I drove the bus. I drove the bus to our away games. I drive the bus, but this was a team. Who was it? Block, I think, in our district. Block was coming to us, and they had their bus driver get COVID, so they couldn't come. So we had to reschedule the game for next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to see Block early in the year, man. They're not bad. They're young.
Yeah,
they're
man.
young.
Yeah. It's interesting. The 1A, atmosphere, the 1A feel, and a lot of the classifications and divisions. You got teams like, if we're going to talk about 1A and the different classifications and divisions, and we'll start with mine is Tensas, Lincoln Prep, Delhi. Delhi's got a kid. His name is Eric White. And Washington, Eric Washington, and he's 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", and the kid
can do everything on the court.
Correct.
He may be upward of 6'4", Coach.
Correct. And so with these 1A smaller schools, when you're looking at some of these teams, I mean, yeah, we're number 2 right now behind North Central, but you have Tensas, Lincoln Prep, Delhi. You have 6, 7. We 3. Okay. But you have a whole. But what the fun thing is with 1A, it's not like in some divisions or classifications you may have, for instance, where I came from in Division 3, 2A. I'm sorry, but Newman, hands down, is head and shoulders above everybody else in Division 3. And I'm going to go ahead and say Newman will probably win Division 3, and they'll win a state championship with Coach Randy. And now, so the fun thing is with 1A, when you have these teams, at least on the public side of things that I've seen, there's not one giant. There's not one team that can't be taken down or one team that can't. It's pretty competitive. It's competitive when you look at guys like Eric Washington and
Reginald Stoner.
Stoner and my kid Amarion Lazard and a couple kids that I put around him, and it's just fun, man. It's a competitive. It's really anybody's game when it comes time for playoff time and state.
Right.
That's the fun part about it. And like I said, it's not just 1A. If you look at 3A and 4A, when you look at, I mean, you could start with 4A on the public side of things. you're looking at Carver, Edna Carr, McMain, Lakeshore, Neville, who we play pretty soon in a week and a half or two. Huntington, Peabody. Can't forget Peabody. Peabody probably has 20 wins right now. So, some classifications and some divisions, you have your one giant that probably will win it all. But others, man, especially that 4A, man,
and look, LeGrand's might haven't been great all season, but they can, they're good enough to sneak up and beat a good team.
Yeah.
They really are.
Right.
Bastrop added. I saw Bastrop over the summer, and they were like freshman, sophomore heavy that was getting the minutes. And I was looking at the Bastrop Neville game the other night.
Yeah.
They have a lot of upperclassmen that are getting those minutes now. Yeah. And guess what? Their coach might be a little, but they're well coached.
Yeah. No doubt, man. So, it's interesting in some, but and then when you go to 3A,
don't even mention 3A, man.
Jeez, that might be. I think 3A and 4A might be the best classifications in the state. When you talk about Madison Prep, Bossier, Wassman, Westlake, Donaldsonville, St. Martinville. You can't forget about Sophie B. Wright and Northwest, and these teams. 3 and 4A, man, that might be the best two classifications in the state, in my opinion, as far as just a collective group of overall talent and overall teams that are well coached, that play hard. Bossier and Wassman, a lot of people said, look, north of I-10 or whatever they say, man, that the north versus south thing. There's a lot of good teams north of I-10. There's a lot of good teams. You look at Ash, who's number 2 in 5A.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good, man. And Zachary Madison Prep just played.
Yeah. That was one hell of a game, man.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of good talent in the state. Like you were saying before, there's a lot of good, and at small schools like us too, like the kid Eric Washington, there's a lot of good players and good teams and good coaches, even at the smaller level, and kids that have a chance to go to the next level, no matter if you're in the top 5 teams or the top 10 teams or the top 15 teams. I think there's a lot of good high school basketball teams here. But it's exciting to watch, man. This is the time for me as a coach, and for all of us as coaches, that says, in November or December, we all say, we don't have to be good right now. We don't have to be good right now. You lose a game, you lose a player to an injury, whatever it is, it's all good. We'll figure it out for end of February, beginning of March. Well, guess what's here? It's coming. It's coming. So that's the fun part about it for me and for us. And it's hard because basketball, you become as a coach, and you look at these college teams and these NBA teams, these NBA coaches are more like managers, but basketball, basketball season's long. It's grueling. It's brutal, especially at the high school level. We're still trying to play 34 games. We don't have the team trainers. We don't have the, so on and so forth, the medical people. And so you become, at this time of year, it's like you're just trying to manage. You're trying to get your kids healthy. You're trying to get them ready for what we want to be ready for. At this point, you have to sustain. You have to be healthy. You still have to practice hard. And sure, you have to get up and down and stay in shape. But I think a lot of it is managing your team and managing your program and saying, hey, let's go do this thing. Because if you remember 2-3 months ago, we said, this is what it's about. This is what it's about, is the end of the season. And that's the fun of it. And especially me this year for 1A, as I'm looking at the 6-7 teams, it's anybody, it's anybody's game. If you don't bring, because I don't think there is in 1A at least public, I don't think there's that giant. I mean, credit to Northside and what they've done. They've got 5 or 6 more wins than me right now just because of the amount of games they've played. But I think I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it, and I think all of us as coaches, we all probably have 10 games or less. We have 10 games or less, and it's go time now, which is kind of crazy because you're like, man, we've been through it. We've been through the gauntlet. We're injured. I have a kid failed off. Whatever it is, you go through all this stuff during the whole season, and now it's go time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, but it is. That's the truth of it. And as a coach, you've got to manage it. You've got to be there for your kids. You've got to pump them up. You've got to find positive ways to reinforce, what they're doing right. And
Right.
it's this is the toughest part of the season because you're at that point where you're getting ready for playoffs and you're getting ready to end the season and you want to end strong, but you've got to kind of manage it at the same time.
Coach, you've been through you've been through a large part of the season now. What was the big difference for you during the non-district season, where again you guys played a lot of games really fast, and now it's district, and the competition may not be as steadfast as you like?
Yeah.
How do you continue to keep a balance
Yeah.
between staying competitive and staying, like you said, healthy for the playoff push?
Yeah, for sure. That's the challenge. And I think early on, like you said, we played Lakeview, who might win 2A. Lakeview's a real deal. We played Red River. We played Southwood. We played a 5A Pineville team, which is better this year. We've played Marksville. We played in Natchitoches Central. We played Ash. We went to Bastrop. And us being 1A, we're always playing up. So
Right.
for sure, the pre-district schedule helped us. And I think that's probably the reason we're at 2 or 3 right now. Lincoln Prep or whoever might have more wins. They might have 18, 19 wins when I only have 16. But for sure, the pre-district schedule helps, and it helps with PowerPoints, and it helps with the end of your season because you do see some weaker teams in district, and I can speak for a lot of coaches probably when you get into district play, and it's not every district that's weak. There's very competitive districts. Tensas and Delhi are in the same district, and speaking about 1A. So
Right.
I think, and for me, I've always tried to sprinkle in a few games during district, maybe on a bye week or whatever. For instance, on the 7th, we're playing Neville. It's a Monday. Neville's going to come to us. We're going to return the game next year. And then, so I try to do things like that. Or Coach Marcus Johnson, assistant coach for Woodlawn Shreve, he called me,
Right.
said, "Hey, do you want to be in our tournament on the 5th, Saturday, February 5th? You can come up here and play Booker T. Washington." I said, "Perfect, we'll come up." Even though it's our 4th game that week, we play 2 Monday, Tuesday, then we play Logansport Friday, and then we'll go to them to the Woodlawn Shreve tournament and play our 4th game that week. But at the end of the day, if I play Booker T and if I play Neville late in the season, well, now I'm really trying to secure that 2nd spot.
Right.
And so you just, as a coach, you try to do things to put your team and put your program in the best position, even though you are in that district play. And even though district play may be a little weak at times, you really just have to manage it and try to put yourself in the best position when it comes time to get those brackets out and when it comes time to give your best chance to win the thing. I mean, that's what we're all after, right? Is to hold up that state championship trophy. That's the goal. So I think playing a Neville, I think playing a Booker T. Washington late in the season during district, it only helps us. It only helps us. PowerPoint wise, it gets us tougher. And then of course the Hall of Fame game. Ash and Peabody were supposed to play the Hall of Fame game. but they had kind of a miscommunication and falling out. So I hopped on the Hall of Fame game, and so we're playing Peabody in the Hall of Fame game.
Oh
So,
wow.
so that'll help us out, and that'll get us ready to go for playoffs. And that'll be our last game. Of course, it doesn't count for the regular season record, but that'll be our last game. I think on February 19th is a Saturday, the week before playoffs start. So
Right.
between Neville and Booker T and Peabody, I think those are things that really help us and keep us strong. Like, to answer your question, keep us really competitive before that time comes here at the end of the season.
Oh man. Hey, I
What
just
you
got
get?
a really great text, man. That made my heart really happy, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
share it with you guys later on. And we're gonna pump the advertising up on this a lot. But again, you're right, Coach. Playing coach teams like the Neville Tigers, head coach Philip Craig and his top assistant Vince Burks, they've done a great job rebranding the Neville Tigers basketball program. That helps keep you sharp in a situation where district games might not be so tough. Or
Right.
playing a Booker T. Washington Shreve under Kenny Sykes,
Right.
who is not only an offensive genius, but man, he knows how to get kids to play way above their level to be where they need to be.
Right.
And again, they had, I think they had a tough go at it last year. They had to travel 6 hours for their playoff game, and with a group of kids that had never did that before.
Right.
In his first year at BT Dub, but now they're like, they've beaten some good teams this year.
Yeah.
And they are. Hey, y'all can think that if you draw Booker T. Washington Lions for the playoffs, that it's going to be an easy game, but you may end up on the wrong side of a L.
Yeah. For
You
sure.
know, and so, Coach, man, I'm just, again, man, for I think maybe the last 4 years, we've had a really solid relationship.
Yeah.
I've always thought that you've done a really good job, whether it was at Menard, and now you're bringing that same love, energy, and passion to Northwood Lena. I hope you pencil us in for the 7th.
For sure. The Monday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love, again, I love to be a part of what's Northwood Lena athletics.
No doubt, man. No doubt. And I'm going to talk to my girls coach too. You talk about one of the best girls team in the state, if not.
I follow them on Twitter. They are tough.
Coach.
They are tough.
They good, Coach. They good.
Hey, I love to have her on, man. I've been trying to, again, build on the girls' side for 5 years now.
Yeah.
And, to no avail, it's heartbreaking because, again, I work my can off in trying to give you guys the best of everything that I have. And sometimes it's a little demoralizing when it seems like your work is undervalued.
Right.
So, hey, man, bro, you stayed on here way longer than you were supposed to.
For real?
I don't have an issue with it.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
No. You again, it's certain people, man, and this is no lie. It's certain people that if you want to come on, all you got to do is text me and say, "Hey, bro, I'm free today."
Yeah.
And you got to open. You're one of them people, Twig, that got an open invitation wherever, as long as it's an off the bench sports or prep news.
Yeah.
I'll always have love for Brian Terwilliger.
That's it. That's it.
You are a phenomenal coach, and this is just my personal opinion. Some other people may not agree with it because they don't have a personal relationship with you.
Right.
But you're an even greater person.
Thank you, man.
It's not one time that I've ever called you that you didn't answer or didn't send a message back saying I'm gonna hit you back. and then you hit me back.
Right.
So that means a lot to me.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Got to keep, especially what you're doing. I think you're just trying to help these kids out, get exposure, and it's good, man, to have these conversations. I think stuff and what you're doing is very important, man. And we're gonna try to work it out and get you up here for that Neville game.
I really hope so, man, because
Yeah.
I promised one of your kids, man, that I was gonna try to get to a game.
Yeah.
And I think, sometimes kids and parents don't understand. Like, I had a parent yesterday, and I didn't have the number saved, but the parent said, "Hey, New Iberia and Southside are playing tonight. You should roll through." Like, I've rolled through enough.
Yeah.
I've rolled through enough.
Yeah.
Like, I've given the very best that I've had for almost 5 seasons now.
Right. Regardless of your life, you probably got home at 12 o'clock last night from your son's game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is exactly what time it was.
Yeah.
And then guess what? I was so, and y'all may not know this, but me and Coach Twig, we really do have a relationship. Like, like, I was so pissed off last night after my son's game. We talked for an hour on the way home. Like, I think he ignored his wife's call like 2 or 3 times, talking to me, like talking me off the ledge.
Hope she doesn't see this. Yeah.
and so it's just crazy because when I visualize things, and my vision is clear.
Right.
Because I visualize from a place of purity, from a place of honesty, from a place of honor. Because I try to be an honorable person every single day.
That's right.
And so when I visualize something, when it doesn't go the way I visualize it, I take that shit personal.
Yeah.
Like, I real life take it personal. Because again, I'm an honorable person. Or at least I try to be every day. I don't try to make $1 off the backs of these kids. Like, somebody told me entity, and they didn't tell me what entity it was, charged the kids $700 for an interview.
Right.
And I could not believe that.
Yeah.
Like, how are you out here, like, freewheeling these kids?
Yeah.
These are children.
Right.
Nobody asks you to start doing high school media or exposure. That was a choice you made.
Right.
And I don't cry if nobody hires me.
Right.
I cry because of all the kids that I tried to help, and I can't get people to hit the subscribe button on YouTube.
Right.
Like, with all I've done, like, the least you could do, at a minimum, the least you could do is hit the subscribe button on YouTube and keep it hit.
Yeah.
You guys, and I'm just going to say this. It's dudes out here that put out humbuggishness, foolery, deceit.
Yeah. They're in it for their own personal reasons, trying to make a buck. Yeah.
Right. And flat out bullshit.
Yeah.
And they got 1 million followers.
Yeah.
They got 2 million followers. They got 10 million followers. Young boy got 20 million followers. He put out bullshit every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
And somebody that's doing something for your children,
you can't get.
You got.
Yeah.
You guys won't hit the subscribe button for something that's good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you like me or not. Like what I'm doing for your children.
Yeah.
Like what I'm doing for your children or attempting to do for your children.
Yeah.
That's the part that hurts the most, is that I missed 70% of my son's own high school season, high school career, covering you guys' kids. And I did it with great joy and pleasure because it's what I chose to do. But at the same time, it still doesn't make it a great feeling when it took me 5 years to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Right.
How's that right? How's that fair? How's that just?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You
you
got-
guys say you love your children. Well,
Yeah.
if you really love your children, make it easier for me to cover and maybe even hire more people to go out across the state by hitting the doggone button.
Yeah. Yeah. End of the day, you just trying to help kids out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've done it without complaining. And I'm
Right.
not complaining now. I'm just stating the fact that
No, yeah, it is what it is. The reality of it sometimes is the reality, and it sucks that people, and that's what it is. So, no, I agree.
like again, it's over 70,000 kids that participate in LHSAA athletics. I've covered at least 5 sports,
Yeah.
and it's only like 12 in the LHSAA. So
Right.
I've covered almost 25,000 kids
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah. On your own with no help, with no
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
And,
you
and y'all in Louisiana swear they're big on loyalty.
Yeah.
Man, I almost
I know. You better stop while you're ahead. You're absolutely right though. You'll drive over to Mississippi, watch your son's game, but the next day you'll drive up to Shreveport for a basketball game. You're all over the place. And I appreciate that. And a lot of people do appreciate that, but it's unfortunate that some people don't that don't respect that don't appreciate that, and it's good. Nice guys finish last sometimes, and I know that's a
right.
saying and it's cliche, but man, sometimes that's the case. You're a guy who you just want to help people, and you're there to help and get their stuff out there on stuff like this, and genuine people like yourself. Sometimes people don't like it, man. I don't get it.
Hey Twig, again, you know, a lady I met who owned businesses, she told me in year 1, she said that in year 1, in year 2, you'll see all the mistakes you made from year 1, and you'll never make those mistakes again. You know,
Yeah.
the biggest one I made was missing 70% of my son's high school
Yeah.
career, and he had a pretty good career.
Yeah.
And not only that, I didn't talk about my son enough. I didn't put his highlights out there enough, which I had access to, because I didn't want people to think that I was biased,
Right.
in which I wasn't. But at the end of the day, I should have done more for my own child. Well, guess what? I have a daughter that's 13. She's 6 feet, 6'1". She's a volleyball player. And from her first competitive showcase tournament, she's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I won't make that mistake again.
Right. Yeah.
I will not make that mistake again.
I seen you post about it the other day. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, it's when you have kids that exceed your expectations.
Yeah.
When your kids to be a Grayson, like my kids know the bar's high.
Yeah.
Like the bar is so high. Like I don't accept failure. I don't accept excuses. And you have to be able to endure a lot to be a Grayson, to be Hobart's Grayson child.
Yeah.
You have to endure a lot.
Especially with all the traveling and everything you're doing, But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you.
Again, man, I absolutely love high school sports.
Mm-hmm.
And for as much as grief and pain as it's causing me right now, my mama always said, if you know a job is hard when you take it, don't complain about it. Just figure out a way to beat people at their own game.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
It's evident now that I won't get the support that I've earned.
Yeah.
It's clearly evident that I won't get the support that I've earned. So again, I have to figure out a way to beat people at their own game. And I shouldn't have to.
That's it.
But I'm willing to do that because I've always told my kids that it's always God first. And so why would I depart from that?
Right.
God has never let me down.
Yeah. As long as
And so
keep your priority.
again, though, when you go into an unknown, a situation where you haven't been in for 30 years, and you have to take that walk alone, because
Right.
it's not fair to put adult problems on children.
Right.
When you have to walk that walk alone, nobody knows what you go through or what you experience.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it's like,
Yeah.
I be like woosah.
Yeah.
But when you woosah, that pressure, that stress is still there, man. Like,
Yeah, it is.
so
It is.
I'm just trying, man. Like I said at the beginning of the show, life is kicking my butt right now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
man, I'm just
yeah.
trying. Hey, I'm supposed to be talking about girls basketball, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all though, man. So I promise you guys, I have to get on the road and travel today. But I promise tomorrow, I'm gonna talk about girls basketball. And soccer is coming to an end this weekend. Their playoffs are about to begin. So if I don't travel back tonight, I'll get up first thing in the morning and do prep news for girls basketball, and hopefully, Coach, you can get me hooked up with an
Coach
interview with
Cooper.
y'all girls, Coach.
Yeah. I'll get you up with Coach Cooper. Her and her husband, they do a great job, man. I'll put the good word. I'll talk to her today when I go over to the gym, and we'll definitely set something up there. And I'm gonna talk to her too about getting you up here and covering both of our games. I think it's a boys and girls game. So, man, if you can come up on a Monday.
Oh no, I come up again. Right now, February 4th, January 18th and 19th. Everything else, and look, let me throw this in here. February 4th, February 7th, February 18th, and 19th.
There you go.
Everything else is wide open, man. Again, man, I appreciate all the true supporters, all the true people that really show love to Off the Bench Sports and Prep News and all that, man. And I ain't lying, man. I'm going through it right now, but they say as long as you know you're going through, as long as you don't stop, you're gonna come out on the other side of the furnace like pure gold.
Yeah.
I believe that. That's what I believe my whole life.
Yeah. As long as the sun comes up the next day, man, and strong. Tough times don't last. Tough people do, man. I posted that a couple days back, and you're a tough person. So if you can.
Hey, a couple of days, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't know how tough I was a couple of days ago, man.
Yeah.
I quit. I quit Off the Bench Sports and Prep News and Life Off the Bench a couple of days ago. I quit.
Yeah.
I realized quit.
And sometimes it happens.
I had to talk to God and reevaluate some stuff.
Yeah.
But I had told a couple of coaches that I was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well,
like you said, tough people
still here. Yeah. You still here, baby, and we talking about it, and like I said, tough times don't last, tough people do, man, and keep kicking. And I'm in your corner, and a bunch of coaches are in your corner. And lean on us. We're all family. At the end of the day, my family lives in Connecticut. I don't have family here. We're family, dude. That's why we lean on each other in times like this. We can talk to each other. And, I mean, that's the culture, man. That's what we're here for, is to lean on each other and keep getting through this together. Get it through together.
I think I just needed this really good cry today, bro.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with
it. Again, at the end of the day, it's nobody. I'm not ashamed to cry on air.
Nope.
Because I've lived my life through this platform for the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, a lot of these kids are my family.
Yeah.
A lot of these coaches, Coach Eddie Hamilton, Airline, Coach Kenny Sykes, BTW, Coach Brandon Goldtree, Southwood, Casey Jones, Jeremy Madison,
Brad Boyd,
Alex Washington, Brian Terwilliger. A lot of people don't know this. Coach Smith calls me once a week, most weeks.
Yeah.
Like different age groups, different age generations.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah.
He just called to say, "Hey man, how you doing? Are you okay?"
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good dude, man. Yeah.
Man, Darnell Lee, EA, Nate Roche, John McClinton, Jeff Jones, Casey, Carlos Sample, like all those dudes, man. All I gotta do is call them. Rob Acorn, Jason Herbstler, Northside, like those dudes never not answer. Ramon Lusk, their highest coach. He and I just fought, like he's gonna answer if I call.
Yeah.
And so it's like, again, I know I've done the work.
Yeah.
Kids, like, I used to think people were playing when they said, man, these kids look forward to you being at these games. And I used to be like, man, no, they don't. But
they do,
it wasn't a lie.
Yeah, they do.
So
at the end of the day, man, this is what it's about. It's about relationships and the relationships that we've built and you've built with all these coaches and these kids. And that's what helps us through life, man. Life is not easy. It's going to hit you every day. It's going to hit you with something different. But end of the day, if we have these relationships to lean on, we all right, man. We all right.
Right. Hey, man, I'm sorry to dump all this on your lap.
Hey,
two days in a row.
I love it. I love it, man. I'm here for you, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. It's basketball season. It's the real deal. It's crunch time.
I know playoffs are about to be here, man. My favorite time of year.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Hayes, I know what I told you the other night, man. God definitely is a way maker, man. Like Coach Hayes said, man, I miss you doing the shows you did when you talk about the playoffs. Are you going to do them this year?
Yeah.
And so, yes, Coach Dwayne Hayes, Madison Prep, we're doing the playoff shows every day this year again.
That's it, man. That's it.
I can't wait. Hey, girls coaches, I need y'all to work with me. I need y'all on talking about y'all programs, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. You have a kid on your team that's worth talking about.
Yeah.
So, hey, I got to get off here, man. I got to get ready to get on the road. I got to be on the road by 11, I think, to get where I got to go. Got a great game for you guys coming up tonight. It's a surprise. Twig know where I'm going.
I know.
It's a surprise. It's going to be a really phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all know what it is. Get off the bench, get into the game.
Hey, peace out, Hobart. Be safe on that road, bro.
All right, one love, baby.
All right.